Hello, friends. I'm Jonathan Pishner with Apex Counseling, and today we've got a heavy subject. We're talking about depression today. And after what I'm guessing is the 1000th time I saw depression advice on the internet, I finally decided I need to make a video about it because there's something that's really important to know about depression advice on the internet. And it's not what you think. I'm not going to say it's all wrong. There's a key detail missing that really needs talked about, because one of the things that happens with any advice is if advice is mostly correct but it's missing a key detail, it becomes bad advice because people don't understand how to deploy it properly. So that's what we're doing today, is we're going to fix the internet's overarching depression advice. So what I've done here is I've pulled up just a list of things that the internet says to do for depression. And then we're going to talk about how to make it actually work for real people with depression. First of all, shout out to Google for, as soon as I Googled anything about depression, the National Suicide Hotline was one of the first things that came up. So shout out to Google for understanding that people need assistance. So looking here, there's a bunch of good ideas. Exercise always comes up. Creating a routine comes up a lot. Hanging out with friends comes up tons of times. Doing new things, meditating, all kinds of these things. All of this is fine advice. However, the thing that is missing most of the time is there's no commentary on how much it raises your chances of getting out of depression. Because since we look at a list and we're like, what helps with depression? Oh, exercise. It's very easy to imagine that the advice then is, if you exercise, your depression will go away. That is not true for an awful lot of people. If you hang out with friends, your depression will go away. That's not really precisely how it works. So let's fix this, because all it requires is one key concept to fix the entire thing, and then it makes it usable for an awful lot more people. And here's what it is. In a way, viewing depression as a math problem is pretty okay when you're just starting to try stuff, because the horrifying tyranny of depression is that it saps your energy and it makes it really kind of energetically expensive to do anything. So you have to be selective about what you do. It leads a lot of people to sit inside and do nothing just because it feels like it takes so much effort to do stuff. We're going to pick on, let's say, exercise, since that one was at the top. Here's the key concept that fixes it. If you are doing nothing to help your depression, you have a 0% chance of helping it get better. If you do something, in this case exercise, you're increasing it by some percentage. You're not going from 0 to 100%. That's the key thing to understand. You might only be increasing at 3%. You're giving yourself a 3% opportunity to get out of depression. When you go hang out with friends, there's another 2% on top of the 3 you already did with the exercise. When you, I don't know, try new things. That was one of the ones on the list. Maybe you're adding another 1% on top of it. What gets a lot of people so despairing is that they will do a bunch of this stuff either from self-help books or from the internet, or maybe even therapists who just don't know how to take it deep enough. They'll do this stuff, but they think that it's going to be the end-all be-all cure, when in fact what you're really doing is you're trying to stack up as many opportunities as possible to get out of depression. And one of the things that happens a lot is you'll have some of these talking heads on the internet, and well-meaning. I don't think they're being malicious at all, but they will have gone through some sort of mild or minor depression. They make a change, and then the depression goes away, and they really truly believe it, that one minor change did it. It's probably more correct to say that whatever change they made gave them an opportunity to get out of the depression, and it so happened that it worked, because on top of their life change that they made, let's just keep picking on exercise for a second, that that helped and gave them an opportunity, but then it also helped them modify the things they were telling themselves inside. It helped them modify other behaviors. And sometimes you just hit that one magical thing that cascades into somebody getting out of depression. When if you're a person with more severe, more difficult depression, you probably won't hit that on the first try, or maybe not even the 10th try. The thing that I would encourage people to know is it's much better to, when you have depression, you feel bad all the time. Well, if you're going to feel bad, it's much better to feel bad with a 6% chance of getting out of depression as opposed to a 0% chance of getting out of depression. So even when somebody comes to therapy, one of the first places we start working is not on all the deepest, darkest stuff. It's, is your life set up in a way that once we start working on the tough stuff, do you have the opportunity to get out of this? Because if we're working on all of the really, traumatic stuff, or maybe the really negative self-talk, but your body and brain are not biologically in a place where you have a good opportunity to get out of depression, it's not going to work very well. So even in therapy, I'll be starting people with these basic ideas, just because then when we do the serious therapy work, it's going to help so much more, and it's going to really make treatment progress so much more rapidly. So this is the fix for internet advice: is none of it is likely to get you from deep depression to all the way out of depression. It's all just trying to stack up as many opportunities as possible to get out of depression. And there's dozens on there that I didn't mention, and really 90% of them are fine. Like if you want to do aromatherapy, fine. That has some opportunities to unlock things to help you get out of depression. That if that increases your odds by 2%, great. Journaling was kind of a fad there for a while. Some people really get a lot out of journaling. If that increases your odds by another 3 or 4%, terrific. Do that. Almost none of it is bad as long as it can't physically hurt you. Like if people are trying to tell you to put stuff in your body that's you got to be careful about certain stuff. But there's a lot of it that's really, it's difficult to hurt yourself with a lot of the depression advice out there. Where most people get into a really big bind is they just don't realize that it's not going to be that quick of a fix. Sometimes it just takes a lot of work, giving yourself as many opportunities as possible to get out of depression. So I sincerely hope this idea is useful for somebody out there today. If you are struggling with depression and you can't make self-help or internet advice work, please, for heaven's sake, get with a skilled counselor. They'll almost certainly start having you do this behavioral stuff to give yourself good opportunities out of depression, but then they'll help you solve the root problem too. So thank you very much for hanging out with me for a few minutes. My name is Jonathan Pishner with Apex Counseling, and I will see you next time.